Transparency Initiative.
Coast Uganda studies have previously noted that transparency and performance of the infrastructure procurement processes in Uganda have been associated with integrity issues and corruption risks. Some of the key integrity issues include collusion in procurement, bribes, lack of poor planning and citizen engagement, as well as mismanagement of funds.
Government officials are taking up this. No, they are not yet there. You know, when I see like the turn up today, I feel really so sad because Minister of Works, he's a senior officer there, of course, representing the minister and the Prime Minister. We should have had a minister. There is a lot of laziness on part of our fishermen.
In a report released by Coast Uganda indicates that corruption is the #1 challenge of the infrastructure delivery in Uganda, especially in procurements, which significantly impedes economic development.
Actions to enhance infrastructure transparency, and that the Office of the Prime Minister should consider making the Baraza approach mandatory across all infrastructure projects to enhance citizen scrutiny and accountability. And that the Ministry of Finance and PPDA should strengthen disclosure by issuing a standard disclosure framework or template that entities can use to publish data. We understand the EGP is under design, but is it to the standard, to international standards? And is it easy to use? Is it easy to access by everyone? And that citizens, public officials should also be trained on how to publish data frequently.
There is a need to streamline the private sector actors and procurement policies in the country in the interest of promoting fair business practices, sustaining access to business opportunities for all stakeholders. The Infrastructure Transparency Index 2021 shows that the level of transparency and citizen participation in infrastructure projects is not enhanced. Honorable Nathan Byanyuma MP Bukanga North says that the public has a right to know about these projects and challenged ministers and other leaders to get out of their comfort zone and monitor government projects.
This would be a very good way, and I strongly suggest that we should embrace the proactive data standards which we must which we must also actually display. Then she also noted another take home is that when you talk of cost overruns and possibly cost overruns, it's good in this stakeholders meeting we have our Honorable Member of Parliament. I think there is need for them to have policy issues. I would give an example. In this financial, we made our budgets, but later we got communication from Minister of Finance communicating 40% budget cuts due to COVID effects.
According to Gilbert Sendugwa, the Senior Regional Manager, Africa Coast International, local government plays a critical role in ensuring service delivery. The Minister of Local Government then should strengthen monitoring local governments to ensure compliance.
Centralized framework, the local governments play a very critical role in ensuring that services are delivered. So if their capacity is very low, if their ability to engage citizens is very low, and if citizen participation in the projects these local governments and central government agencies are delivering is very low, then it's going to affect everything else.
You can't believe it, even when you look at the health centers that the NRM government has built. You don't compare them with the 23 hospitals which have the same color, Chijandongo. You have seen them up to now, after so many years. It's because of that transparency. People no longer, the cows demand for 10% openly. I'm telling you, I've had it. I'm sorry about it. So that when you tell a contractor, please go to Singiro to do some work. I can't go there. Those people demand 10%. At the end of the day, I do show the work because of that. It is happening. I'm sorry, Madam Really. I'm sorry, but that's what is happening.
Some leaders from local government decried being understaffed.
Because most of these local governments, if you visit, you'll only get one person in the unit, or at most 2 officers. But when you go to Ministry of Works or Ministry of Education, you have an assistant commissioner in charge of procurement, a principal officer, maybe 2 seniors, and then the level goes. But in local governments, you only get maybe a senior, if he's alone, or a senior and an officer. So I would also want the stakeholders to take this up to escalate either to public service or the relevant line ministries to help us and open up some of these structures. Because you're one person needed in council, you need to attend to contracts committee meetings.
Understaffing is as a result of challenges in finding suitable workers, but in others, it's intentional due to cost-cutting measures. Now, if districts are understaffed, is monitoring of government projects going to be strengthened? Benson Mumbe, Smart 24.
Veterinary Association.
A veterinarian offers services that are very key to the livelihood of the country's economy, to the livelihood of the people of the country.
District veterinary officers have on several occasions expressed concerns regarding maintenance and sustainability of the regional laboratories. During Uganda Veterinary Association annual general meeting and scientific symposium, vets said that they do not have budget for servicing lab equipment, which may lead to the issuance of wrong results from the samples tested. They, however, attributed this to insufficient funding.
Funds must be justified. So in order to attract funding, you must come with bankable projects. You must identify the problem and provide plans to overcome the problem. And the government is ready to partner with the Veterinary Association to advance the animal industry.
A veterinarian has to be somewhere. But when we talk about productivity and production, they are very much related to animal health. So a veterinarian has to be equipped very well, facilitated very well, so that he can offer very good services for the animal health. Once the animal is healthy enough, it is fed very well, it is of the good breed, then it can produce enough that can be bulked. Because you can't talk about industrialization minus bulking.
Veterinary services in Uganda are at the verge of collapse as a result of poor facilitation and poor funding and lack of drugs for livestock.
We have agreed that the animal sector, which is overseen by the veterinarians, is a very important subsector in this country in terms of driving the economy. So we are coming up with a strategic direction as a subsector, which is going to attract budgeting, which is going to attract big work plans, so that this sector, which follows very well in the NDP3, will have a good budget. We have been getting meager resources in the Ministry of Agriculture because we had not expanded our vision. But now we know that there is a will for government to invest in this sector. We are going to put our heads together as a subsector, as a sector of agriculture, knowing that 24% of the GDP of this nation comes from agriculture, knowing that we support the workforce.
They are paid the same like the civil service salary structure. However, they have also been earmarked to be enhanced their salaries as other scientists. My challenge to them, my call to them is this country badly needs the animal sector to come up. It's a sector which can rapidly create industrialization, it can rapidly create employment, and the veterinary doctors are the best positioned professionals to lead that. And starting from now, we shall try to mobilize them and really help them to take this leadership of the sector.
However, these veterinary officers were also blamed of selling government-free vaccines to farmers.
When I leave this meeting, talk to yourselves. We want to support you, but we want to support you for a good cause. There must be justification. FMD is free and compulsory. We do not have this vaccine. But when you brought it, instead of, in the worst scenario, of asking money for transport because you are paid, to do the job. You are charging farmers 3,000. You are actually giving them underdose.
Veterinary officers that charge farmers 3,000 shillings per animal when they are vaccinating. We know that government does not facilitate vets when they are going for this vaccination work. Therefore, it requires cost sharing when they are doing the work. But what we don't believe in, that you charge 3,000 shillings. When you charge 3,000, that means you are reselling the vaccine. We are going to talk with the districts so that we come up with a minimal charge between 500 and 1,000 that can facilitate a vet to the field, get fuel, get what to use the consumables, but don't charge farmers 3,000.
Vaccination is one of the most effective tools for preventing animal diseases and for promoting animal health and welfare, safe food production and public health. Despite their importance, there are often challenges to ensuring that suitable veterinary vaccines are available on the timely manner on the European market.
The annual performance report issued by the judiciary last month indicated that there were more than 150,000 cases in the backlog in the justice system during the financial year 2020-2021. In Uganda, a case is considered in a backlog when it has spent more than 2 years in the justice system without being concluded. The Director of Public Prosecutions, Jane Frances Abodo, has therefore decreed the high levels of understaffing in her office that currently at least 201 out of 238 operational courts do not have prosecutors. This amounts to 84.4% of the courts lacking a prosecutor, which hinders the timely dispensation of justice. Abodo disclosed the concern in her office to Uganda Radio Network in the sidelines of an event held at Sheraton in Kampala to launch 3 books that are supposed to guide prosecutors to enable them to properly handle cases related to gender-based violence. However, according to DPP Abodo, prosecuting gender-based violence requires them to be in all courts across the country, which is currently difficult. But she notes that although many sectors in the justice system are understaffed, when it comes to the Office of the Director of the Public Prosecutions, the situation is chronic. Abodo explains that there used to be 324 prosecutors, but some of them have since crossed from the office of the DPP to the judiciary looking for greener pastures, and currently they have about 300 prosecutors handling a population of more than 40 million people, which makes them get strained with work.